Western nations, once steadfast in their opposition to Syria's former leadership under Bashar al-Assad, have now turned to Ahmed al-Sharaa, the new leader of Syria, to mend ties and secure diplomatic footholds in the region. Known also as Abu Mohammed al-Golani, al-Sharaa's rise to power marks a significant departure from the previous status quo, and with it comes a series of notable engagements between Syria, NATO, and EU allies. The last decade saw the West label Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, the militant group led by al-Sharaa, as a terrorist organization. But now, as Bashar al-Assad's regime crumbles and Syria faces a new chapter under al-Sharaa's leadership, these same Western powers are re-evaluating their stance and seeking to build new bridges. The United Kingdom, for instance, sent its Middle East lead and special envoy for Syria to Damascus for talks with al-Sharaa. Similarly, French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot met with the Syrian leader in Damascus, and German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock followed suit, signaling an overture from Berlin.
A little less than a month ago, new hope was born thanks to the mobilization of Syrians, the hope of a sovereign, stable, and peaceful Syria, the hope that the aspirations of Syrians can be fulfilled. It is a real hope, but it is a fragile hope. Today, more than ever, France stands alongside Syria and Syrians to make this hope a reality.
But perhaps the most significant shift came from the United States, where a high-level delegation, including Barbara Leaf, Roger Carstens, and Daniel Rubinstein, met with al-Sharaa on December 20th, 2024. This marks a substantial break from Washington's past, which had placed a $10 million bounty on al-Sharaa's head for his association with HTS. The decision to remove the bounty reflects a wider recalibration of U.S. policy in response to the changing political landscape in Syria. Ukraine has also stepped into Syria's new political landscape. On Monday, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andrii Sybiha met with his Syrian counterpart, Assad Hassan al-Shibani, in Damascus. This marked the first official visit by a Ukrainian delegation to Syria in recent years. Sybiha also met with al-Sharaa, stating Ukraine's willingness to share expertise in gathering evidence and investigating war crimes. He said eliminating Russia's presence in Syria would contribute to stability in the Middle East and Africa, even if it takes time.
We are preparing to renew our diplomatic relations with Syria and our cooperation within international organizations. I want to thank our intelligence for the security framework of these contacts. The visit will also lead to increased trade with Lebanon. Our agricultural exports alone to that country currently total $400 million, and we are preparing to at least double that amount.
Turkey has also played a pivotal role in engaging with al-Sharaa and Syria's new leadership. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan met with al-Sharaa in Damascus shortly after his rise to power, making Turkey one of the first countries to establish high-level diplomatic engagement with the new Syrian administration. Fidan's visit was described as an effort to assist with Syria's political transition and rebuilding efforts, signaling Turkey's intention to play a constructive role in Syria's post-Assad future. Historically, Turkey has been a major backer of the Syrian opposition, including groups like HTS, which al-Sharaa leads. Despite HTS's previous affiliations with al-Qaeda, Turkey has maintained a nuanced relationship, allowing HTS to control border supplies and manage humanitarian aid into Idlib, a region heavily influenced by the group. In line with his rise, al-Sharaa has been vocal about the need for a rethinking of economic sanctions that have devastated Syria since the Assad regime's violent crackdown on its citizens.
The international community should push to lift the economic sanctions on Syria due to the behavior of the old criminal regime which killed its people. Once the pretext is gone, then the sanctions on Syria should be lifted.
This plea highlights al-Sharaa's belief that the Syrian people should not bear the economic brunt of the previous regime's actions. As Western nations reach out to al-Sharaa and his government, Russian President Vladimir Putin has seized the opportunity to call out what he describes as Western hypocrisy. Speaking on the subject, Putin remarked,
"In general, we have achieved our goals, and even those groups that fought at one time with the Assad regime, with government troops, they have also undergone internal changes. It is not for nothing that today many European countries and the United States want to establish relations with them. If they are terrorist organizations, why are you getting involved? That means they have changed, doesn't it?"
Putin's comments point to the West's evolving stance on groups it once labeled as terrorists, including HTS, and highlights the contradiction in their engagement with these entities now that their political dynamics have shifted. The West's abrupt turn towards Syria's new leadership raises fundamental questions about the ethical and strategic imperatives behind such policy shifts. In calling for the lifting of sanctions and normalizing ties with the new Syrian regime, Al-Sharaa is positioning himself as a new force in Middle Eastern diplomacy. However, as Putin's words remind us, this move also exposes the West's long-standing contradictions in its approach to the region.